Hey guys, you know what we definitely should not do?
It's physics, math, and engineering. Machine it, draft it, build it, test it, break it. Every time something new gets built, the entire world advances. Laying in bed at night, it's designing new parts, designing new suspension, designing new wings.
Okay guys, so I'm a little bit nervous. I'll tell you why, because this time I'm gonna drop the aircraft. I'm gonna pull it up to full height, as high as I can get this strap to go, which is gonna be significantly above FAA cert tests. But what's making me nervous is the plane's pretty well done. The first time I did drop tests, it was just a frame. I didn't care if it dropped. I loaded up with sandbags. I even thought, hey, I'll push it till it breaks. Worst case scenario, I weld up some more frame, a little bit of tube, no big deal. This time, I'm doing a drop test, and it's even unlike the drop test I did a little while ago, which was just the airframe, no motor on the front. What do you think? How did it feel?
It's so soft.
Right? I've got 600 pounds of motor and prop and accessories on the front of the aircraft. I've got a great big avionics system. I'm loading it up with sandbags to mirror the weight of the wings. I'm absolutely gonna gross weight this thing out and then drop it. And crap, that makes me nervous. I mean, I know I engineered and designed it and overbuilt a lot of the things, but you just don't know until you test it and pull it to its limits. So, fortunately, thank you FAA for setting some guidelines of how far we gotta go to make sure that it's safe for survivability of a crash, a hard impact. I'm gonna use your numbers, and I'm gonna go a bit higher than that significantly, and we're gonna test this. But if I were to say I wasn't nervous, I'd be lying, because I'm a bit nervous. Let's get it over with. Let's load this up and drop it. All right, so what I'm about to do scares the crap out of me. So we got to tie down 12 rubber bungees crisscrossing back and forth. I don't want that bolted. I want that to have a little bit of give as the plane comes down and impacts on the front. Just lets that have a little cushion in it. It went really well, except for one of them. It got away from me, and it was pulled as tight as we could get it, and it came back around and hooked this finger, and it's starting to swell up, and I can feel every heartbeat in it.
Just a flesh wound.
So let's get back to work. All right, guys. I am doing something really sophisticated with this. Just kidding. It's a bath towel.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
I'm gonna put a drop hook pull cord that will separate these two, and then this section of 3 giant D-rings will fall either forward or backwards, and I don't want it to hurt my window or my sun top on here, the window on top, or the carbon fiber I'm kneeling on right now. So hope that works out, because I don't want to do a new window and I don't want to do a new one of these. So I'm gonna pad up a few more blankets, then we're gonna drop Scrappy. I'm excited and scared to death. All right, guys, so the way we're gonna do this, we're first gonna drop it from just barely off the ground. It should be anticlimactic. But we're just gonna baby step our way up. And this is where I get really nervous, because I know I'm gonna want to keep going and going and take it as high as I've engineered it for, which would take a really big drop. Two things. One, I only want to go high enough to know I'm safe and well beyond the FAA certification limits. And 2, I don't want to break it. And 3, I'm not very disciplined during testing because I have this desire to pull things until they break. So the good thing is I think the beam over my head is going to help me stay disciplined and just go to about twice the load limits of certification testing. And if you can get that far, anytime you take an aircraft to beyond twice its load limits, usually aircraft is 1.5 times max limit. We're gonna go over double, but you try to take an aircraft to double the limits, you break them in half. When you're landing an aircraft and your wheels just grease on, you're only getting like 1/100th of the weight of the plane. If you kind of hit a little bit hard, you may only be getting 10% of the weight of the plane. And it's as you slow down and the wing stops lifting that all of the weight transfers to the ground. But on a free drop, you actually just drop all the weight. Anytime you have any forward movement, you are still flying. That wing is still carrying the majority, if not all of the weight of the plane. I'm gonna discipline myself. I'm gonna pull it till the beam stops me. If we get to there, I need to force myself to not hook it to the high ceiling and really take it up because, oh my gosh, at this point, if I broke something, it would be me simulating a full-blown plane crash, and I don't need to do that, and I have thousands of hours it would take to redo it. So twice the limit is gonna be enough. We're gonna stop there. So we'll start small, baby step. Let's get it over with. All right, guys, I've taken it up just 12 inches so far, and it's not even pushing the suspension at all at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead. I was gonna walk it all the way up higher and higher and then come back down and then add weight. I'm just gonna skip it. I'm gonna throw all the weight in, take it back up. I need to add about, typical Cub would have about 100 pounds a side in a wing. Scrappy's wing is gonna be different.
Thereby secretly adding another secret to their secret collection of secrets. Secretly.
I'm gonna add about 135, 140 pounds a side for wings. I don't need to go to the gym today. We're packing sandbags. I got a pallet of sandbags. They're soaking wet. We're up about 18 inches, certification levels. Still nervous, but gotta do it. So, I was watching what made noise. Scrappy's skeleton fell down, and the lift, yellow lift, flopped down and smacked, and then of course, the big blue padded chunk of metal D-rings hit. But so far so good. I convinced myself I wouldn't go above the free drop test, but it took it up so easy. After what I saw at just about a foot, I'm gonna take it up till the beam hits. So I'm already breaking my rule that I wanna go above certification test, but that is my new limit.
I swear.
Oh my gosh, let the rest of the tests go like that one, and we'll sneak it up past 18.7. I think I'm gonna reach, with what I have left in the ceiling, upwards of 30 inches. You know what's really interesting? The first time was years back, I looked at the free drop test for certification of an aircraft, and I thought it was really interesting, 18.7. It's such a random number, why wouldn't they just round it to 19? Well, then I started to look at the rate of impact once you get above just a few inches is just a monumental skyrocketing number. And the G loading, the forces of G's on impact just goes through the roof. So 18.7, as soon as you start going above that, it is monumental. So some of you might think, well, shoot, I've seen a Cub hanging on its wings, dragging its tail, and it touches and it falls. Why wouldn't you want to take it to that high? Well, if you actually do a free drop test, no wings. This is silly. All right. This seemed so obvious. That's the difference from a free drop test without wings and a free drop test with wings. It sounds really basic and simple, but I've seen this debate on flying of people talking about a free drop test from this high doesn't say anything. Well, free drop test without any wings drops. And that's why so many of the drop tests look so violent and they look like things are gonna explode apart. Yet if I'm flying a cub in and I'm dragging the tail and then the wing lets go and I drop it down, well, a lot of the times the wing isn't completely stalled. It's let go, it's no longer holding the complete weight of the aircraft, but it still has some lift, and oftentimes it still has lift in part of the wing. And then on top of that, one's like a giant open plane surface with huge drag and never lets that plane gain momentum. All the drop tests you watch online, for the most part, they use a jig. Might have been a good idea.
The answer is don't think about it.
We're using FAA certification, free drop test, 18.7 inches, and we're gonna take it to like double that. You play with the math at the rate of increase, and you quickly understand why 18.7 inches on a free drop has a 0.7 and not 19 inches. Okay, take it all the way up to the limit, 100%. Keep going, is that all it's got? All right, there's our limit switch. And I want to kind of show you something to kind of make sure I get the most risky drop possible, but simulates as close as I can get the way a tire impacts the ground. So when I did my twin A-arm gear, I prevented the toe in, toe out scrub that would have been severe on 20 inches plus of travel. And I mean, it would have just drugged the whole tire if working at all with 20 inches of travel. But my tires are upright, but I still have angular scrub, which is really minimal. Obviously, you're not gonna get rid of all of it with this much movement, but I still got a little angular scrub. And so this is to allow the tire to make impact, and instead of dragging on the concrete, I want it to slide easily, which more simulates landing on gravel, dirt, snow, and also simulates, equally as important, that the fact that when you're landing, you're not doing 0 miles an hour. The tire's rolling, which means as it makes contact, it instantly spins up and it rolls as the suspension moves. So it's a rollout movement, so I need this to move freely. What's scary about that is, by it moving really free, it allows the suspension to bottom out much easier. So I gotta do it. I have to do it here, not in the backcountry. Let this last one go well. I'm ready to drop it. 3, 2, 1. Well, Scrappy fell down, went to sleep, and everything else looks really good. Woo! I'm gonna sleep at night tonight. But I'm not gonna push it any farther. This is pretty awesome to me. I still have a lot of room to go. Okay, I'm unhooking everything, and here's why.
I can't help myself.
I needed to stop drop test, and I'm gonna stop my drop test where I'm at. But I gotta get it unhooked, because every time I look over here, I just want to take it up higher and higher. There was so much travel left. I can still put more pressure in it, and I need to reframe. So I'm taking off the blankets, taking everything off. It's really hard for me to do.
That's rough, buddy.
It is really hard to do, because part of me just wants to know how far would I have to go before it broke. And then if I did it and I took it up 6 feet up and it survived, I might want to go 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm not going to hook to any other beams in here. I promise myself. I'm holding firm. Let's build something else. Back to work. I'm super happy with the results of the drop test. I really did want to take it up higher, so I hurried and unhooked it. Of course, it couldn't have gone any higher on that beam, but I've got it pulled off. I'm not wanting to do any more. I had it gross weight, maxed out. Everything I needed to learn, I learned. A couple things we noticed right off the bat. The test was perfect other than it did bounce. What's great about that is that's the easiest fix of all. This is a King shock, the same I've got on the front. This is off of poor Draco, but Draco's been donating parts. So inside here, I've got a different shim pack, and I can go ahead and change the valving in here. I'm gonna make a small adjustment on the impact, and then I'm gonna slow down the rebound, and then that's it. I know for sure, because I've played with King so much in off-road racing, I know for sure I can probably go to a 15 on the rebound, and Scrappy will come down and just stick like glue, which would have made the drop test video even more anticlimactic. It really, I mean, it kind of was boring. It was fun, but it just was anticlimactic. And part of that, I think, is because I know I built the suspension more like some of the trophy trucks and Baja rails jumping off of sand dunes. It's the same structure, same design, designed to handle double, triple, quadruple what we just tested. I only moved the O-ring. There's an O-ring slide that you can slide up and down on a King shock. It's this one right here. And it probably moved about to there. I didn't even get close to bottoming out. And all I need to do is change the shims, adjust the pressure, and I might only use that much. So Scrappy has a long way to go. At this point, the only reason I'd ever hit harder than that would be a severe mistake. All I need to do at this point is inspect it. So I've got inspection plates to get into my carbon fiber mini wings. I'll go up inside there. I got inspection plates right inside where the shock's attached to the main frame. All that substructure, W-web truss system that goes between. I got inspection of the motor mount, everything. I gotta say, I'm gonna go through all of it because it's the only way, I'll know for sure. But I didn't hear a thing. There wasn't a pop or a crack or some kind of violent impact. It was so docile. I'm not anticipating finding anything, but it's gonna take me a couple hours. I'll go through every single inch, put it back together, and then guess what I get to do? Change the shims and build the cowling. We got lots to do, and some windows, door trim, a few things like that, but I'm done with shocks. Let's get to work. Hey guys, I just got home. It's the middle of the night, so I gotta be quiet. But earlier, my son Dex, he's rebuilding some wave runners, sanding and painting them. He ended up pulling the whole motor down, doing all the way down to the crank pistons, a full overhaul. He's doing upholstery. And while he was working on that at the hangar, when he got done, I kept working, and now I come home and I hear noise. Hey Dex.
Hi.
What you doing?
I'm testing out a bunch of new mods I've done to this Black Widow 3D printer. Right now, it's making a height map, kind of like that on the computer, of all the imperfections in the bed. It's a home build, and I'm still kind of messing with it, so there's no need to tuck up the wires yet. I'm gonna make covers and little cooling cases for everything and make it all pretty, but for now, it's just the basic stuff.
Some of these parts on here, are these the ones I saw you printing earlier?
I think so. Probably. There's a lot of those.
There's a lot of those. So you know how to run the code?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, buddy. All right. Anyway, guys, that's my son. I should be telling him to go to bed, but I'm not going to. I'd be a hypocrite. We'll talk to you later. See you guys. Say bye.
Bye.